I've just been on like the trail of thinking about something, and I wanted to make a video talking to you guys and get your input on it. I like making these videos and where I'm like on a thought train and I need to kind of just vent, and you guys, better than anyone, want to hear about racing games. I should think so. This is pretty much going to be a continuation of my previous video, if you haven't seen that. It's about why racing games recently, well, they're shit. Why are they shit? Well, there's multiple reasons as to why. They recently just haven't come out very polished, because well, that's pretty much all games, quite honestly. All games that recently haven't come out polished. And someone was saying it, that some people were saying in the comments, that it's not just racing games that are bad, it's pretty much like a whole bulk of games that are bad compared to their previous titles. And obviously, you have your Need for Speed Most Wanted, your Carbons, you have your Juiced, you have your LA Rush, which was kind of a weird, interesting one, I guess, to throw in there. You have your Midnight Clubs. You have a whole bulk of games that used to be much better and much more polished back in the day than when you have now. Like, I think even compared to Forza Horizon 3, Forza Horizon 2, which I would say are the most polished racing games available right now, I still massively prefer the older games. So that's why I wanted to get you guys' input on this. This one's going to be a bit an interesting one because I don't have a solid reason as to why. I just have my gathered assumptions and that kind of thing as to why this is the case. But why do... Okay, here we go. Why do the games recently not do as well? Why are they not as good? Why do they not last as long? Now, obviously, my first idea is they're made so that the next year you're going to buy the next game. That's why they're not very long, but at the same time, it takes a longer development time to make a longer game. Now, this is why we're seeing discontinuations of storylines. Forza Horizon 1 had an awesome kind of storyline that kind of dragged you in. Most Wanted had the best storylines there possibly was. So why now do very little racing games have storylines? Why did games in general have less story or progression, if you will? And I think the best way to put it is if you look at the two opposite scales of things. So we had, I would say, Need for Speed. It wasn't the longest campaign in the world, the newest one. It wasn't the best. Honestly, my assumption is they probably spent a lot of money on those icons, and they probably should have paid more less known actors like they did with the previous games, or lower end actors, if you will, because the icons aren't very good. They're not very good actors. Get actors, not icons, and make them into actors. It didn't really work. I mean, the concept was cool, don't get me wrong, but I would prefer just kind of Spike and that kind of character, just more of those. And then on the other end of the scale, you have Forza Horizon 2 or 3, either or, take your pick, because they're pretty much the same game. And unfortunately, that is true. The only differences between Forza Horizon 2 and 3 are the map is a little bit different. It's a different map. I guess that should at least have changed, you know. They have a few new cars, I believe, and some less cars, some cars that aren't in the previous one. And also, they have a couple of body kits. That's pretty much it. Don't lie and say otherwise. That is pretty much it. But the point is, that game has absolutely no story whatsoever, and that pisses me off. And don't try and tell me there is a story. They have about 5 voice lines in the whole game, and the progression is literally you start you get the intro for the festival thing, you go to the festival, 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 and you just carry on doing that. There is no proper storyline. There's no want to go forward. Once you've upgraded one festival, you've practically beat the game. Let's be totally honest. Horizon 2, for example, you could complete the whole thing. Like, you complete it once, and it's like, wow, do it again! Excuse me? But that's what we're getting to. The point is, we either have a shorter story that's not as good, or we have no story whatsoever. And quite honestly, I'd rather have the shorter story. I wish that we could kind of extend development in storyline again, but quite honestly, unfortunately, racing games storylines, they're not up there. But what I think should be up there is proper progression, personally. This is why I lean more over towards Need for Speed and The Crew, especially. Now, some people, The Crew is too much of a grind, and I totally get that, but personally, I like my games to last. GTA 5, do I have everything bought? No. Will I probably want to buy everything? Yes. Why? Progression. The game is actually hell's amount of fun. Like, I play this game almost every night with my friends, even still recently. I have a stupid amount of time on the game. Why? Because they keep adding content, and even if there was a large amount of content there for me to get, I would keep grinding, I would keep going. I'm the type of person that wanted that fucking minigun at level 120, and a lot of people won't be, and I totally get that. The last time you bought a racing game, how long did it last you? Horizon 3 didn't last me very long at all. Again, I'll keep going back for DLC, but I'll play it once and that's about it. Because again, I just get the cars. If I had to unlock them, I'd play it a bit more. Like the summits in the crew. Like that's what I did. I went on the game and played the summits. Like in Need for Speed, they added Eddie's storyline in the prestige mode. More progression for me to keep going. And now, they obviously, the last update I think it was, they released the PvP multiplayer, which was a million times better than the standard thing we had. But their point is they're adding like progression systems into the game. They're adding more things to do, to gain, to go on to, if that makes sense. Whereas Forza, I have not had that. The only thing I have had is, what is that? The Storm, I call it Storm Island, the Snowy Mountain thing. That Snowy Mountain expansion. Let's be honest, that was fucking awful. Step back a little bit, it's not that bad. It's not bad at all, but the point is it's pretty much the same progression as the actual normal mode in where you just do a race, you do a race, you do a race, you do a race. You've done it! Well done! I mean, you're not going to unlock anything because you already had the Veyron, like, right at the start of the story, but, I mean, that was pretty much the same as Storm Island, except it was snow and not rain. If you think about it, it's literally the same thing. See, unfortunately, in my eyes, the way I have to explain it is that Forza is currently becoming the COD of racing games, in where it's just rehashed, reskinned every time, and it's just, like, that's in no way bad, 100% bad. I mean, it's a good base game, so why is that a bad thing? But I mean, you should at least add to it. And I hope for the next Forza game, the focus is, this is one of the reasons I'm making this video, to actually make proper progression. And that's also speaking to Ghost Games and to Ivory Tower updates, especially because calling all units, that wasn't very good either. Okay, there wasn't enough progression there. There was like 5 story missions, and they weren't that good either. But I just want more progression in racing games. Progression keeps us playing. Even if it's past the story mode and you go start a Burnout style, Burnout Paradise. Burnout Paradise has some cars where you have to do all objectives online together with your friends to unlock special cars like the Diamond P12 and some of the Stunt Island, I don't remember, the Island expansion cars. There were some cars that you just couldn't get unless you did all like these extra little bits. I want that. Reward us extreme players, the players that are still playing. I'm playing Need for Speed to unlock what right now? Nothing, unfortunately. But I see a rank going up and we're doing a series. I just want there to be more progression in racing games. That's the main thing, in my view, that stops us playing games for longer. If there was more of it, even if it was the shittest game in the world. And again, the crew and Need for Speed definitely have issues. That's why I'm still playing the crew, because I have things to unlock still. And I'd say less so now because, again, there's no summit. But that's why I'm in an area in where I said racing games are shit, is because none of them right now have any progression, even the most recent one, which is kind of sad. I missed the summits. I really do miss the summits. That's my view on it. Progression is my main thing, and it's always been. I made videos saying how Most Wanted 2012 was the shittest Need for Speed there fucking ever was, and that's how my channel started, if you didn't know. Pretty crazy, right? But again, let me know what your thing is down in the comments, what you hate about the fact that racing games are missing nowadays. The one main thing. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and let me know your thoughts, as I said. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. This is a Chucky Beat production.